Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Welcome to another edition of the North Shore Drive podcast. I am Jason Mackey alongside Ray Fittipaldo. And there's this weird dead time in the schedule. Ray, I hate it. I want the opener to get here. I'm sure you are in the same camp. We've written, we've talked, we've done all these things about the Steelers, and now we just have this time. But at least there's going to be some news today, right?
Yeah, 4 p.m. We're going to get the rest of the cuts they actually made, I think, around 8 or 10 yesterday afternoon, Jason. So a few more to come. But, once 4 p.m. rolls by today, we'll know who's on the roster, who's on IR, and then we can start talking about the New York Jets.
Yep. So we'll get into that. That's going to be the lead topic on today's show. I also want to talk with Ray about the tackle situation, a little bit of postseason evaluation of Broderick Jones, Troy Fautanu. And to me, this links up with the column I'm writing about some stuff that we just don't know about the Steelers, the running game being one of them, defensive backs being another. Which group do we feel better or worse about? And there's this matzo ball out there, to quote Seinfeld, with Cam Hayward. I don't know what's going on with his contract, so we'll kick that around a little bit. Before we dive in, though, I have a message from our friends with Pella Windows and Doors of Pittsburgh. There's no better place to get windows and doors installed in your home than Pella, who can help you save on energy costs year-round. You can schedule a free in-home consultation with your local Pella Windows and Doors to find the right product for your home and budget. Give them a call at 866-593-1560 to discuss your project further. Again, 866-593-1560 to get started planning on your new windows and doors installation with Pella Windows and Doors of Pittsburgh. All right, Ray, so we found the winner. I can't believe I'm saying this. The big news of the roster cut down day, the winner of the punting competition. It's Corliss Waitman. Did that surprise you?
The only thing that surprises me is maybe they didn't wait until the last minute to try to trade Cam Johnston. Everyone who's followed the Steelers in training camp, listen, they might not follow the special teams battles, but this was a really good one. Corliss Waitman was really good filling in for Cam Johnston last year, and he was really good in camp too. And Cam Johnston didn't have a bad camp, Jason, but I think what the Steelers were looking at, they could probably save a little bit of money by making this move. They're going to eat a little bit on the salary cap this year, and they're just getting younger. Cam Johnston is 33 years old. Waitman is much younger.
Yeah.
And if you want to go back, I think it was 2021 when Presley Harvin was going through some stuff. Corliss Waitman came in, punted for the Steelers in the playoffs late in the season. He was excellent then. Looking back, they should have just kept him then, and they should have cut ties with Presley Harvin. But here we are 4 years later, and looks like he's going to be the punter in 2025.
Yeah, there's a couple more things that intrigue me about this, and maybe I'm off base. You're closer to it than me. Like, how much did his holding for Chris Boswell have to do with anything, or is that maybe just a fabrication? And the other thing I think about, Ray, is that money saved. Like, what, $2 million? Like, yeah. I would love to see them go out and get a receiver with that money. I don't know if that's fantasy land either. It might be. Yeah. But I can see what you're saying with Corliss Waitman and familiarity. Should have kept them. I'm not sure it's worth it. And frankly, I was pretty impressed with Corliss Waitman last year and in the preseason. It's not like he's some, flyer of a chance.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the holding stuff is part of the equation, but I don't think it's a big part of the equation. If it was totally even and like Chris Boswell did better with Waitman, then you could sort of see why they would do that. But Johnston was fine with Boswell last camp. He, of course, got hurt early in the season. So I think it's more about the punting. Waitman just has a huge leg, and I think there's more upside there. You could sign him to a contract now, and, you don't have to worry about going year to year and finding a punter in a couple of years when Cam Johnston is getting older. So I get it from that perspective. But, listen, Waitman won the job. He was really good in camp, and I think that's what it comes down to.
What about Mark Robb, Ray? Little surprised to see Mark Robinson cut? I was.
Yeah, a little bit. He's a very good special teams player. I think what it comes down to, Jason, is Mark Robinson. I think he played over 300 special team snaps last season.
Man.
I think when you look at it, Carson Bruner is really good on special teams. I think what they feel is Carson Bruner can come in, take over those 300 snaps on special teams, and they feel like it's even, or they're going to get an improvement with Bruner in those situations. And then I just think there's maybe a little bit more upside with Carson Bruner eventually turning into an inside linebacker that they could potentially use within the defense. Mark Robinson, unfortunately, was a guy they would only put out there in certain situations if they had guys hurt, or maybe against run-heavy teams where you needed a guy to just come downhill and bang heads. Mark Robinson was good for that, but he's not an all-situations linebacker. Bruner has a lot of development to go, but I think there's a little bit more potential there that he could be a serviceable inside linebacker as opposed to Mark just being, a guy who's going to play on special teams.
Yeah, I get that. And I'm not going to freak out over, what linebacker, what depth linebacker they keep on special teams. I get it. A little bit curious, like why they tried Mark Robinson at fullback at one point this camp, but maybe these are related. I mean, maybe you just want to see what else he can do. But in any case, we're going to get some more news today. Oh, go ahead, Ray.
The lesson is, if you are tried at fullback by the Steelers in training camp, you're done. Kendrick Green a couple years ago, they tried him at fullback. They kind of like, can we use him in any way? Boom, he was traded to the Texans. Mark Robinson was out there for one day. Jason, I don't know if you remember, he wasn't any good blocking.
No.
He was a total fish out of water trying to block. They're like, all right, let's scrap this. So do not play fullback. If you're on the roster bubble next summer,
do not play fullback. It's where they take you out the pasture.
Yeah, do not do it.
Oh man, we should have asked Rosie Nix about that when he was out at camp. Like, feel like this kind of ended your career. All right. Anyway, another round of cuts like you mentioned today, Ray. Are we expecting anything big?
I'm more interested in. I mean, there might be a surprise or two, Jason, but I'm looking at the IR. Who's going to go on IR?
Okay.
Will Howard, I think, is a really good bet to go on IR.
Yeah.
No one's really talking about it because he's been injured all of camp, pretty much. But there's another draft pick, 7th round corner, Donte Kent. The Steelers don't like to cut draft picks. Maybe they put him on IR and maybe they try to just look at him and see if he can come back next season. What are they going to do with Cory Trice? I mean, Cory Trice is a really talented player, but he never seems to be healthy. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. I think, do they cut ties with a guy like Trice and just move on from him, or do they give him another shot and see if he can come back at some point this season and help you?
Yeah, I don't see where it happens with Cory Trice. I want to. I understand the optimism, but dude can't stay healthy. They need to put him in bubble wrap or something. And at this point, I look at their secondary and where's he going to play? At this point, I don't know where Beanie Bishop fits. And it kind of, that strikes me as a good problem to have. I understand they're different players. I understand their different skill sets, but to use Mike Tomlin's analogy, the train is kept moving along. And I don't know how Cory Trice, given how much he's hurt, I don't know where he hops on there. Ray, I wanted to just hit on Will Howard for a second. And am I oversimplifying this? I don't understand why we're talking about it so much. Maybe because people love Will Howard. Isn't the easiest move in the world? You're just going to keep Skylar Thompson as your number 3 and you put Will Howard on IR because you can. I don't understand why this is even a conversation topic. And I feel like it at least somewhat is.
Yeah. So he was injured 21 days ago on August 5th. He has not practiced since then. He has not played in a preseason game. Obviously,
why is he going to be on the 53? Well, I know he's not.
Yeah, so just yesterday he picked up a football and started tossing it. Okay, when he caught it, he was catching it with his other hand, and it was like little 5-yard throws. He's not ready. He might. Tomlin said yesterday he's going to return to practice soon. We'll see. If he goes on to IR, he can't practice, Jason. So that's. I mean, we can get into a whole other discussion someday about NFL rules about IR. I kind of think it's stunting the growth of some guys by not allowing them to practice and get out there. But that's another issue. I think it's a slam dunk that Howard goes on IR. And I'm not sure he has to sit out the first 4 games. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they just shelve him for the whole season and go with Skylar Thompson as long as he's doing okay.
So he's not allowed to practice if he's on IR at all?
No. He can be in the building. He can be in meetings. He can do everything. He is not allowed to practice with the team.
So what if they're out on the field and he's doing stuff off to the side? Is that considered practice?
I think he can go out and watch, Jason. I'd have to get into the nitty gritty of those rules.
The NFL's so goofy, man. Why?
Yeah.
Why? What's the point of that? That's a rule for the sake of having a rule.
Yeah, and I think that's why if you would, I mean, we always talk about this with the NFLPA and the CBAs that they sign. Like there's little stuff like that. You just wonder, why don't they just stand up for themselves? Like it's a little issue, but I think for a guy like Will Howard, and we can go back and talk about it with Roman Wilson last year. We could talk about it with Calvin Austin. I mean, that's a tough thing to overcome sitting out an entire season, but that's just the way the NFL operates.
Well, and you've brought this up before, and I'll wrap it up after this because I know we're limited on time. But I mean, I don't understand why you don't have a certain number, or maybe it's just quarterbacks or something, where you can keep those players. Like you've used a draft pick on them. There is a very specific case. Like you should be able to express lane one or two players onto your practice squad for developmental purposes, for stuff like this. Like you've drafted the guy, he got hurt at a disadvantageous time.
Right.
Like you shouldn't be punished because of that when you had to go find another quarterback. Anyway, I think that's a flaw in the rules.
Yeah, and we'll see a bunch of these guys go on the waiver wire, Jason. Everyone sort of like, they bite their teeth over it. Will we pass through waivers? 90% of the time, they're going to pass through waivers. You can get them onto your practice squad. Once in a while, a team will pick them up. But if you pick a guy up, you got to put him on your 53. So you have to really like the guy. So that's something that I think fans fret over, but I think it's maybe a little bit overblown. The vast majority of these guys who are going to be cut, if the Steelers want to bring them back to the practice squad, they're probably going to be able to do that.
All right, stay with us. In our second segment, we're going to talk a little tackles. We're going to talk about the running game versus defensive backs, as well as Cam Hayward. It's the North Shore Drive Podcast Tuesday edition with Jason Mackey and Ray Fittipaldo.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.